And we're live on Instagram, which is here.
And we're live on Facebook, which is here.
Amazing. All right, Facebook. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Instagram. This is going to be fun. How are you guys doing? Waiting for a few of you to start streaming in. It's Friday. Hi, Instagrammers. How are you guys doing? So before you guys go off and start having too much fun on your Halloween weekend, we wanted to come on and equip you with some tips on how to navigate this extremely crazy, energetic time. Welcome. Wow, Instagram has 57 people. And Facebook, where are you guys? There's only like 10 people on Facebook. Hi, everyone. So we want to really equip you guys with some of the energetics of the times right now during Samhain, which is a spiritual, traditional way of calling Halloween. Because Halloween is not what we think it is. Halloween is not what we have programmed to, think it is. Halloween, you'll be shocked to know, is actually us. It's like a celebration day for the dark entities, where we eat treats, we go trick-or-treating, we wear dark costumes, we watch horror movies. And in this transmission, which will go on for about 25 minutes or so, I'm thinking, we are going to share with you guys what's going on behind the scenes and what you need to know. You guys ready? Oh, Blanca, you will be. Tulum is amazing, you guys. Can you guys see our glow? Like, we're just feeling so glowy, and
We've been going to the beach every single day. That's why we have this tan. And we used to be like so westernized in terms of the sun. We used to think, oh my God, we need to wear a sunscreen and this and that. And now we're becoming like Tulum locals, where we don't even put on a hat. We go in the blazing sun for like an hour. And we're just like little children here. It feels like our inner child comes out.
Totally, you guys. I'm so happy we got to connect on a Friday evening. This is so random. Okay. Hi, Sistara, Kathy. So nice to see Merlin. You're still awake. I love to see all your familiar faces. All right, let's get right into it. Halloween, Samhain, all the things you need to know to protect yourself, your energy field, and your internal ecosystem from what we call 4D astral entities. This is going to be a very fun video for those of you who are new or kind of somewhat new. I also have some new analogies that the guides downloaded in me just yesterday. So let's see, where do we start? So basically this video is going to teach you some basic tips on how you can protect yourself from parasitic 4D astral entities that are feeding off of your ecosystem. So this is how this download came to me, okay? I got this download about 2 days ago. Actually, no, yesterday. I got this download yesterday to literally in this exact manner that I'm going to share it with you guys. So first I was shown to talk to you guys about your internal ecosystem. Each of you has an internal ecosystem. We think we're just this body, but this body houses bacteria. It houses candida, it houses tapeworms, ringworms, you don't want to know what else, like viruses, whatever. It houses a whole yeast, like some people have yeast overgrowth. So there's a lot of these entities that are invisible to us that are growing within our ecosystem. Does anyone not agree with this?
Actually, there's been like friends of mine who've done these water fasts where they stop eating and then they drink this lemon juice. And they've literally posted pictures of worms that came out. They were
disgusting.
It was horrible. I don't even want to see that kind of stuff. But the point is, we are just an ecosystem of billions of beings bonded together in a cohesive relationship. And all of these beings are, in one way or another, either sucking our energy or supporting our ecosystem. There's both good beings within us and bad beings.
So the next thing they said, okay, now think about where bacteria thrive. Where do bacteria thrive? In garbage bins, in like stinky places, in sewage, like in sewage areas where there's like a lot of bad, dark, stale energy. That's where bacteria thrive. And that's why it starts smelling even more, because bacteria they thrive. They don't like the sunlight. They like dark, moist, dingy places, right? So then I was shown that analogy to share with you guys. Like literally your guides are channeling through us, you guys. That's why they're giving us this information in bite-sized pieces that all of you can just get it. So they tell us how to translate guidance, okay? So then basically they said, now imagine your central column of light. Imagine your central column as if you're like a being and there's like a central column running through you. You have your 7 chakras. You guys know you have your crown chakra, your pineal gland, your heart chakra, your solar plexus, sorry, your throat, your root, and your sacral. You have your major chakras. So now they said, think about this analogy of how bacteria are growing in all these dark swamps and stuff. And they said, think about how your negative emotions, and this is for every single person watching, okay? This is going to give many of you breakthroughs who are new to this concept. Our core audience is very well versed with these concepts, but because we've taught it in the past. But this is important for Samhain, which is why it's a very timely transmission. So, and before we go any further, I want to tell you guys why Samhain is so being talked about right now, because Halloween is actually a time where the veil between us and the higher realms, which is the higher realms of light, as well as the higher astral realms, which is like the lower 4D astral realms, the veils between realms is very thin in this time. So this is why there's like a lot of references to dead beings, ghosts, entities, like the whole thing about Halloween, and we may get into it or we may not, is based on a very dark satanic practice, and it's glorified to send our children trick-or-treating because we don't know what it is. We're like, oh, let's go trick-or-treating, but we don't realize how much darkness is associated with this and what we're actually doing. By the end of this video, you guys will have breakthroughs if you're not already having them.
Can I
Yes.
just explain a bit more about Halloween?
Please do.
This is just a recent phenomenon that Halloween or trick-or-treating, this tradition has been completely manufactured in Western society, but the origins of Halloween, or Samhain as we call it, it was always towards the end of October, where in the olden times when we were farmers and peasants, we used to grow our own crops. End of October usually represented that our growing season is over and it's time for the harvest and whatnot, and winter's coming and we need to save up all that we've yielded in the year so far. So they used to make offerings to the gods so that they wouldn't go into famine in the winter. So what they would do is, this is where the concept of scapegoat came in. They used to take the village goat and they used to like cut it as an offering, not fully cut it. It was still alive but bleeding, and they used to send it into the middle of nowhere as an offering to the gods. If the goat came back, then it was lucky. If not, that means the god accepted the offer. So this kind of like these kind of dark sacrificial rituals were encouraged by the negative beings, like the negative beings in the higher dimensions, because they want us to deter from the ways of God, from the path of light, and go more into these worship the gods kind of energy. So from the get-go, Samhain has been influenced by the dark, and in modern society, those dark beings that used to be more dominant in olden times are being replaced by our government, which in very plain terms introduces all of these consumer-driven rituals like trick-or-treating that force children to eat candy, and even that act of overeating candy, gaining pounds, makes us sluggish and lethargic, puts a lot of like pressure
Candida.
or negative effects into our gut and digestive tract, and causes entities to also attach to us through those ways by watching horror movies and normalizing all of this. So Halloween has always had a negative connotation that people are not aware of.
Absolutely. And even we, I mean, and if you're still celebrating Halloween, there's a build-up period to detach from it. So we'll get into that in a bit. But I want to go back to that central pillar. So I want you to remember now that let's go back to the analogy where all of these bacteria are thriving in swamps and smelly sewers and garbage bins. And let's go back to the analogy how all of your lower emotions, which you, by the way, go through on a daily basis. There's not one person here who can say, oh, I'm all positive, I have no negative emotions. So this could be something as simple as you fighting with your husband or your wife. It could be something as simple as you having a lot of guilt because you're smoking weed or you're smoking a cigarette and you're so guilty about it. Or let's say you haven't spoken to your mother for a year, but instead of saying, hey, I have not spoken to my mother for a year because you know what, she was not in her integrity and so these are my boundaries. Let's say you're not a champion of your boundaries and instead you're taking guilt and saying, oh, I'm such a bad daughter. So remember that there's an emotional scale of positive and negative frequencies. And insecurity. It could happen anytime. So all of these lower emotions, all of these lower frequencies like fear, judgment, hate, anger, like let's say you start fighting with your husband, all of these, or let's say someone belittles you and you feel like shit, you feel horrible. Let's say you have greed, let's say you have anger. Anger is a horrible one. Where do you think these sit? So let's talk about that. Let's say you're having insecurity, and let's say I were to scan your solar plexus. Insecurity would literally show up in your solar plexus as like black matter when you look at it from an energy hygiene perspective. Let's talk about fear. Let's say you have fear, like, oh my God, am I going to survive? Is Earth going to crumble? What if there's a war? What if a bomb falls on me? What if I lose my job? What if my husband cheats on me? Whatever the reason may be. When you have fear, fear is sitting in your root chakra, and it's because your root chakra is all about your foundation, and this fear is clogging your root chakra and giving it like a dark black or a grayish color matter. What else could there be? There could be insecurity, which is clogging up. Let's say you're a very shy person and you don't have the wits or the confidence or the courage or the charisma to pull off your energy when you go in a group, and you feel insecure, like, oh, I'm so shy and I'm not good enough. This is vibrating in your solar plexus. So there's like let's say you're not speaking your truth. Let's say you're holding back your truth. All of this is now making your throat chakra murky and gray. So this list is endless. Now, before we go any further, it's a very important reminder for every single one of you watching to know that every single one of humanity has dark entities, just like you have bacteria in your system, and candida and yeast and tapeworms and ringworms. You have an internal ecosystem. The same way, every single one of us has what we call 4D astral entities that are invisible, but they have attached to your chakras, because this is what I was shown to explain to you. I want you guys to ask your higher self, close your eyes, you can do it right now with me. We're going to ask your higher self to just present a scan of your chakras to you right now. What do you see? When you look at an X-ray scan of all your chakras from top to bottom, do you see crystalline, golden, beautiful white light, or do you see some gray, murky, or sometimes even black or brown spots?
And ask your higher self to assist you by literally closing your eyes, bring your own auric field in your inner vision, and ask your higher self to throw X-ray light over your inner vision auric field. And literally when you throw this is all in your terms imaginary, but this is how we develop our intuition and psychic vision. So when you throw X-ray on your aura, it immediately lights up all the dark spots, and those dark spots usually represent the nests where these entities hatch. They don't just occupy your space. Some of them literally create nests, and they even lay eggs, and they have offspring, and they multiply. So they're parasitic beings, just how we have mosquitoes in the 3D realm. Entities are just one octave higher. And later on, we're going to explain in which octave they live and how they even came to be.
And Marius is saying she saw a black hole in the heart. Let me know what else you guys saw. Lower back, Jennifer saw something in her lower back. Now, someone asked, is pain also low vibration? Yes, because when you're in pain, the spiritual significance of pain is P-A-I-N, is pay attention inward now. What are you ignoring in your life that is translating in your body as pain? A healthy, vibrant, happy, ascended, Christed, happy, spiritual, fully aligned being does not have any pain, zero pain. That's why we start reverse aging when we do our healing. So you guys have seen all of these murky energies, right, in your chakras now? Every single one of humanity has it. Now what happens is that these invisible dark astral beings that live in the fourth density, so it's like they're called the fourth density lower astral beings, they are cut off from God's source. We may or may not get into the story of now, but Saman, if you want to quickly touch on it in a second.
I'll give a 5-minute overview when you're done.
Perfect. So we'll give you an overview of how these entities are even in this fourth dimension and why they're sucking on this once we finish this analogy. So what's happening is that these 4D lower astral entities are the bacteria. They're similar to the bacteria who are in swamps and garbage bins and all of that. These entities have cut themselves off from God's source. They don't like sunlight. They hate. In fact, they cannot stand sage. They don't like sunlight. They like darkness. So what I was shown, which is something I've never been shown before like this, is that your chakras are literally vibrating this darkness out, which feels like a feast for these entities. So these entities are literally going from, so you're literally hosting entities because of the dark shadows, dark spots, and what you are vibrating in your chakras. They're literally attached, the entities are attached to these chakras. And why is this important? How are they manipulating you? This is where it gets really interesting. Entities are manipulating you every single day, okay? 8 years ago, so I'm going to give you 2 examples because I really wanted to drive home. I'm going to give you 2 examples. We're going to talk about how these entities even came to play, and we're going to talk about what you can do about it, as well as what we are offering to help you through this. This Sunday, we're hosting an entity and implant healing, which we do every quarter, by the way. It's extremely powerful. We'll touch on that in a second. For any of you who's wanting to check it out or register, we welcome you. It's www.nems.love, so it's nems.love, and you'll see the entity and implant healing. And in a second, at the end of the video, we'll tell you exactly how we remove these entities, what we do, the science behind it, so you guys understand what's going to happen.
You have to sign up for the gold membership to attend the event.
Okay, so let's talk about the story that I want to give you. 8 years ago, Samhain and I went to a nightclub. I remember we were not fully on our ascension path like we are now. Right now, we're fully students of the ascension. We are always aligning to our soul's purpose, divine purpose, connecting with our higher self, connecting with the guides, angels, and our whole life is basically guided and aligned, and we're fully in our soul's mission, okay? And we are way showers for the rest of humanity to help them go through density, go from density to ease, and go from 3D to 5D, as I put it.
And to teach the path of ascension.
And we are literally master teachers of the ascension. That's our divine soul mission. We are students of the ascension, and we're also master teachers of the ascension. So 8 years ago, Saman and I went to a club, and we had a few beers, maybe even a few tequila shots. By the way, we don't drink anymore. This was back in the day when we were still learning. We had our training going on. And I remember Saman and I had a synthetic drug called MDMA. Now, MDMA is a synthetic drug, and it is a complete no-no on your ascension path. Once you start your awakening ascension path, ayahuasca is a sacred plant. It is highly recommended for a period of time in your spiritual awakening. But MDMA is a no-no. It's like cocaine.
Because it actually destroys your light body, and it does permanent damage to your chakras. That's why MDMA and these synthetic drugs like cocaine and whatnot are highly recommended to stay away from. But medicines, plant medicines like marijuana, mushrooms, ayahuasca, within sacred ceremony, we always recommend within sacred ceremony with a properly authorized shaman who is of the light. There are many shamans that are not even of the light. So there's big problems there. But if you want to do it with an intention to evolve and get in connection with your higher wisdom and higher guides and go on astral journeys, and you do it selectively. Like once in a while, you don't make your life revolve around.
Yes, you don't get addicted to it.
You don't do like 50 ayahuasca journeys a year.
Yes.
That's an addiction. But if you do it with intention once in a while, and you integrate and you go through the whole process, and you then set aside the medicine after a couple of years of use because you don't need it forever.
Yes.
So we highly recommend stay away from synthetic drugs and medicine ceremonies with precaution.
Yes. So what happened? We took MDMA back in the day 8 years ago when we didn't know all this, and we weren't fully on our ascension journey then. And I remember at that time, we had a company in Toronto where we were hosting ecstatic dances. And we were putting all of our heart in it, all of our love in it, and somehow it wasn't taking off. I just feel like we were attracting the wrong people. They had a lot of expectations. They had a lot of negativity. Why? Because we still had to learn through all of that. We're always a vibrational match to what we need to learn. So Siman and I were going through our training. Now this is very interesting. So we took MDMA. We had an amazing night, Siman and I. And as we were driving home, I remember this so clearly as if it was yesterday. We were on a bridge in Toronto. And we were just like, the wind was blowing. We were still feeling the effects of the MDMA. And I heard a clear, strong, it wasn't a voice, but it was this knowingness saying, Eldora, imagine how amazing it would be if you just ended all this BS of earth, just get out of Earth, take Saman with you, enjoy life up in the higher realms. Like there's so much waiting for you. People on Earth are turning on you. They come to your events, but they have no gratitude. They're just like, it was the hippie community that was very against us in Toronto. So this was becoming, it was that time when this happened. And the entity said, just go off the bridge. And guys,
But it sounded like your own voice.
I didn't know, if I didn't know better, and if we were not already getting our preliminary shaman training, we wouldn't know that was an entity. And I'm going to give you another example to really seal this in. So when that voice was coming, honestly, I'm the kind of person, I love life. I've never ever felt like escaping life. I'm the girl who loves life, loves. I always want to live. I don't want to exist. I want to live life to my fullest capacity. That's me. I have a lot of passion for life. And yet I literally wanted to, the entity said, just put your hand out and turn this steering wheel. Saman's driving, just turn it and go off the bridge. And I told Saman, and he's like, shit, we need to go home and give you an entity healing.
All my shaman feathers
He's like,
came on.
damn, you're under entity attack. Just keep your energy clean and keep your thoughts positive. Now, why did the entity have such a strong hold on me? Because entities know your weaknesses. Entities know where you feel like, I'm just not feeling good about life and I want to exit life because Earth is too much for me. Or I feel shit about, I'm just giving you many examples here. Like you can give some examples like, I'm in a horrible marriage, I don't like life, and I just feel like I'm waiting for someone to come and rescue me.
Yeah.
Or it could be a porn addiction. I'm addicted to porn because that's the only way. I have so much emotional trauma in me that I'm going to watch so much porn, or I'm going to smoke so much weed that...
Or even overeating.
Or even alcohol.
Any kind of addiction is out of balance.
And addiction, like anytime you have addictions, entities are thriving on your energy field.
And they also jump from host to host. So just know, be aware of the kind of company you keep, because if you're hanging around with bars and drinking with friends, those are places infested with entities. Nightclubs are usually infested because everybody's doing drugs. A lot of festivals are infested. So these are kind of like hotspots where entities like just have a feast.
Yes.
So just be aware not to hang out in such low vibrational places, and also we've taught a few protection rituals in our Psychic Protection Masterclass, which is also available on our website, nems.love. And contains the A to Z on how entities operate and how to protect yourself. So we highly recommend the Psychic Protection Masterclass, but also regular entity healings with trained shamans is essential. And that's why we offer it in our New Earth Mystery School every quarter, once a quarter.
In fact, when I look at my life, the last 10 years or so, what really has got me here, today we feel like Saman and I, we don't have that voice that is causing us to fight. Or we don't have that voice that is causing us to eat the French fries or do things that are not good for us.
We used to have it like 7-8 years ago.
We all do.
We've had we've given each other so many entity healings because we're both trained shamans, and we've learned in the trenches. We were medicine shamans. We used to host medicine journeys in sacred circles with angels. For groups of like 15 to 20 people in Toronto.
They were amazing, you guys.
It caught on like wildfire.
Yes.
Like we started seeing miracles, but we also saw many people coming in with like horrible entities, like the kind you see in horror movies.
Yes,
like
because when you're able to see them, you can literally see them. Like there's literally, especially for many of you who have psychic vision, you can see the entities. And someone asked, can they be photographed? Many times you can literally see it, especially when you look at homeless people.
They have been photographed in rare occasions when they want to make themselves visible, but these entities can actually, they're not just in your imagination, they can actually throw things around, they can toy with you, they can, sometimes people feel like wake up in sleep and their body's paralyzed and the entity's sitting on them. But what we've learned in our experience, like I've come face to face with entities and like
so many times,
like even strangled some. Every time I've come face to face with an entity, I just remember who I am. I remember I'm a light priest of the light, and I'm a shaman, and I remember my connection with God's source. So when an entity is looking at a being that is aware of who he or she is, their God vibrating in their God I am presence, then that entity literally turns pale in front of you.
They get shit scared, they shit their pants.
But if you are afraid of them, then they'll become like a big scary monster. That's the trick.
So another way to say it, guys, is if you feel you are plagued by entities, remember that the entities do not have any control over you. You have contracts, and I'm going to tell you about that in a second, about why these entities are even latching onto you. So let's talk about, Saman will real quick explain, after I'm done this part, I'd love for Saman to explain, just like one of us can explain the 3D, 4D, 5D, and what these entities are doing in 4D, and how they even got there. But before we go there, basically, so what happens is that they are cut off from light, and so your darkness becomes their fodder. Now, another example I want to touch on super quick is Chantel is our ascension student. She's part of our mystery school. And in one of our recent events, she literally, and we've known her for a year and a half because she's done every single event we've offered. She's done the mystery school, so we're familiar with her name. And she said, I've just had a baby and I have the worst thoughts. I always want to throw water on my baby, or hot boiling water on my baby, or throw my baby off the terrace. And she's like, I feel horrible. I don't know what it is. So Saman and I said, we're going to give you a complimentary healing just for the fun of it, just for the
we only do that when we're completely guided to do so.
The guides told us, they're like, give her a complimentary healing. So, and we did it in front of our whole mystery school, just like to inspire everyone to what's possible. And right away we came to know it's an entity. And this entity had attached to her when her father passed away when she was 7 years old, because she went into such a state of grief. This is important. She went into such a state of grief and extreme heartbreak, and was wallowing in that frequency because as a little girl she lost her father, she couldn't come out of it, and she said even now she misses him and feels sadness, that the entity came in through a soul contract saying, there's my entry, you're in a really low vibration and I'm going to keep you there. So Saman and I, we got rid of the entity with our healing, and we found out the contract that's keeping there. We canceled all the contracts. But here's the thing. 3 weeks later, she messaged us and she's like, guys, the entity's gone. Meaning these are common entities. They go very easily. She says the entity's gone. Not only have I not had any of these thoughts.
Easily if you're a trained shaman.
Easily if you're a trained shaman, yes. You need to know what you're doing. For us, it's very easy, but we also teach you guys how to do it in a 6-module course called the Psychic Protection Course. So for any of you who want to do it, it's a 6-module course. It's extremely juicy, extremely interesting. It's on nems.love, so nems.love. And if you go to premium offerings, you'll see it there.
And by next year, we're also launching a Healers Academy where we train people how to perform psychic surgery on themselves and others. And this is the greatest tool that we've ever accumulated on our ascension path. Once you learn how to perform entity and implant removal on yourself, you're off to the races,
yes.
Because you're not depending on anyone or anything.
Yes.
And we used to do these healings multiple times a day, and we've skyrocketed
because of it. So our biggest
So in
intention,
2024, watch out for our Metatronic Advanced Quantum Healers course. There's going to be 3 levels, and it's going to take you from A to Z, where you can even eventually offer one-on-one sessions and literally quit your day job and create your own business.
So our intention is to create an economy of very well sought after healers who can charge a lot of money for their services and fully step into their soul's mission of serving humanity by either healing yourself or by offering courses to your clients.
I just had this huge epiphany. We always say this, but now that we're actually saying this to our audience, we've been planning this in the works for so long, but now that I'm uttering these words of next year and the timelines are actually formulating in front of our inner vision, I can see an army of light workers.
Of archangels.
An army of light workers, fully trained
God.
quantum Metatronic surgeons who are equipped, and entities are shit scared of us. And all of us have our light swords, and we're like, bring it on!
Oh my God. And one thing
is
that
be powerful, guys.
One of the things we teach, and for some reason I wanted to mention it because we never disrespect dark entities. Okay, so that when you disrespect dark entities, you lose your power. You can't get into a state of hatred, and we'll teach all of that. So for those of you who want to do the psychic protection, do it. But for those of you who want to first come and receive a healing from us, this Sunday is your chance. And don't miss it. This Sunday is your chance. We're literally giving you guys a group quantum healing in our container at the New Earth Mystery School. And you can sign up for it for $88. You go to www.nems.love, and you'll see the entity healing. You pay $88, you become a gold member, and you sign up for it. And you have lifetime access to it. So Chantel, this is going back to Chantel. She said, not only did I stop having the thoughts, but my husband said to me that he has always had the same thoughts since the baby came, and we were both too embarrassed to tell each other this. So think about how these entities are now affecting you guys. How do you think entities are affecting you guys in your daily lives? Let's talk about that.
Anytime you are in a lower frequency, like let's say you feel like you've had a fight with your husband, sometimes you'll be completely normal, you'll be in a good mood, and you'll be home alone, and suddenly your husband walks in, and suddenly you're in a bad mood.
You're triggered.
Do you understand? Do you know why that happens? Usually, it's because you're being manipulated by entities. And do you know why entities manipulate us? Because they can't just go and feed off your chakras and not do anything more. They have to then keep you in a lower frequency so you remain a vibrational match to them. I'm going to say that again. Entities need to manipulate you so that they can keep you in a lower frequency. If you stay happy and in your joy, they won't have any hooks to latch onto.
They have to leave.
They have to leave. So they'll make you butt heads with your husband. They'll jump into your children and make them throw a tantrum in the middle of a mall, and all kinds of stuff. And how do they manipulate us? They latch on into our central nervous system. And we've seen extreme cases where a powerful entity has been in a central nervous system for 20 years. It can even make you do things like eat like things that are bad for you.
Eat raw eggs, eat sugar, but this is extreme cases.
Extreme case, but it happens all the time. They're manipulating with our thought, and someone says something that pisses you off, they'll amplify it 20 times. So your reactions are always disproportional.
Yes.
So all of these things are because of entity presence in the house.
And every single one of humanity hosts entities. There's no other way. And Saman and I will get into why this is, because it's the 3D, 4D, 5D astral realm. You want to get into that now?
Yeah, quickly.
And after that, we'll get into what you can do about it.
Yeah, just quickly.
Like this 3D, 4D.
Yeah, basically, we're in the third dimension, which everybody knows about. I don't need to explain it in detail.
So third dimension is the physical dimension.
Realm which we occupy this space. And then one level above the third dimension is the fourth dimension, which is the dimension of time. It is the dimension of the etheric realm. So this is the astral realm. Think of your, in our aura, we have your body, and one level above your body is your etheric double, which is like a twin energy version look-alike of you. So your etheric double is your astral double. It's your astral body. It's your energy body that looks exactly like you. So anytime, every day at night when we go to sleep, your astral double leaves your body. And your astral twin is connected to you, to your body, via a silver cord in your belly button, extending to his or her belly button. And every night when you're dreaming, you're actually in your astral body going into the fourth dimension. And the fourth dimension is comprising of negative as well as positive beings. There's not just one. It's only in the fifth dimension and higher, which is one octave above the fourth dimension, where there's only positivity,
Unity consciousness.
only unity consciousness, and only beings of love can make it to the fifth dimension. But the fourth dimension, or the astral realm, is kind of like a passageway or a tunnel between the 3D reality and the 5D reality. And in this tunnel, this whole 4D tunnel exists because it is there to teach us how to differentiate between the dark and the light, because many entities are imposters. They may even impersonate like angels or the Galactic Federation and say, we're channeling to you. Just last week in NEMS, we had a share from one of our audience members, and she said, I've been working with these galactics and I feel so horrible. They told me I've committed treason. And immediately we realized, hey, you're working with beings that are dark. These are dark 4D astral beings that are impersonating higher up angelic beings.
And that happens quite often.
Higher angelic beings never make you feel horrible like you're an imposter. They'll never impose on you. So these beings, how did they come to be in this universe? During the fall of Atlantis, approximately 25 to 15,000 years ago, there were many dark experiments taking place on our planet. And these Orions and Zeta Reculis and reptilians were creating a synthetic Merkaba to dominate planet Earth. But this synthetic Merkaba experiment went horribly wrong, and it created a rip or tear in the fabric of space-time. And that opened up a portal into the negative dimensions, or the lower astral realms. So the lower astral realms, 15,000 years ago, en masse, millions or billions of entities from the lower astral realms flooded into the third dimension. And these are disincarnate souls. These are all synthetic beings that have been cut off from source, and they don't have their own source light to survive. So what they have to do to survive is to occupy human bodies and feed off our negative emotions. And this negative energy that they generate for their food is called loosh energy. So that's the gist of how entities came to be in our reality.
And also, guys, for those of you who are following the narrative of the cabal and the deep state and all of that, why are they trying to create so much fear and hate energy and so much terror on the planet with wars and 9/11? It was an inside job, we all know it. Why are they constantly trying to terrorize us? Because dark beings are not just these invisible beings. There's also dark reptilian beings on the planet who are living underground, under the planet. And these are actually, unfortunately, the powers in control. And they are feeding off. They have to constantly and continuously create. They don't like sunlight, remember. They don't like sunlight. They don't like light. They want dark, dingy, stale energy. So how do they get that? By creating war, by creating suffering, by creating division, by putting Muslim against Jew, by putting Jew against someone else, by putting Christians against Muslims. Perfect, divide and rule. Keep people stuck. So all of this is so that you suffer, you are stressed, you don't make enough money. The matrix was created to keep you in this suffering state so that the more you suffer, the more pain you go through, the more fear you go through, you create this ball of loosh energy, L-O-O-S-H energy, which is fodder for the dark beings to feed off of. So this whole world is basically surrounded by loosh energy. And what are we doing, the children of the light, you, me, all of us who are on our ascension path? We're saying, okay, enough is enough. We've exited the matrix. We're now on the transition to unity consciousness. We're on the transition to 5D New Earth. And we understand that this fourth dimensional realm is for us to learn how to play with darkness and come out victorious as the light, how not to judge, how to have compassion, how to stand in our power, how to let go of guilt, how not to fear, how to take care of our body and get out of pain, which is pay attention inward now, how to feel confident, how to express our truth, how not to take shit from anyone. The list is endless. And then you start fast forwarding in your ascension and you start moving through to higher and higher and higher vibrations or higher and higher dimensions of reality where life gets easier rather than denser. Okay, so removing entities is the first step, but that's not where it ends. Let's say tomorrow you come to our healing on Sunday and we remove these entities. We're going to talk in a second about exactly the science behind how we remove it. But let's talk about, let's say you guys come into this healing and you leave, and are we going to say that these entities will never come back? Let's talk about that. So let's say you're an addict and you're extremely addicted to porn and you have this lustful energy, and then you're going and this same energy is translating into your desires and whatnot, and you're a good person. You're like, how do I heal this? First of all, get rid of the guilt, because all this porn addictions and all sometimes are in you, so you can heal it and heal your entire lineage. When you heal your addictions, like your porn addiction and all that, many of you may feel horrible to have these addictions to marijuana or porn or lust energies and whatnot, but think of yourself as the biggest light warriors, because you are here, because your father probably has the same addiction. Your grandfather probably had I'm just making this up, but you're here
Usually
to heal.
It's hereditary.
You're here to heal the last 7 generations by healing yourself. So let go of the guilt and instead say, what do I need to do to heal this pain I feel? Ultimately, all these addictions are pain. But where was I going with this? Oh, yes. So let's say you come to our healing and we give you a healing. We're going to tell you how we're going to remove these entities, and you go back to life. You're going to feel amazing for a few days. You're going to feel more connection to source. You're going to feel more connection to your guides. You can discern your intuition better. You're going to feel lighter, happier, joyful, clearer. It's just going to you'll be in a better mood. But let's say you go back to your bad habits. Let's say you go back to again becoming a porn addict. The entities can come back. So entity healing is a constant method of letting go of all frequencies that you are attached to, latching onto, that are keeping you stuck in lower vibrations. And slowly, with every healing that you get, or every time you repeat this healing, you go higher and higher. And tell them exactly what we're going to do in the healing. How do we remove these entities from you? What is the science behind it?
Right. So the first principle that we need to understand is that entities latch on to us through the law of resonance. That means entities cannot just jump into a very powerful being of light, like someone who's walking their spiritual path and has let go of all their addictions and has been doing their inner work and is not projecting blame on others. They're in touch with their God self and their higher self. These kind of people are very embodied, and they have all of their soul's light within them, and their auras are bright. When your aura is bright, the entity has no room to get in because there's no holes in the aura. However, when we drink, when we have all of these addictions, when we do synthetic drugs or even overeat, and any negative habits that we develop that throw us out of balance create holes in our aura. And through the law of resonance, the entity will latch onto something negative within your aura that creates a dark, empty space for them to nest in. So usually these dark spots are created by a lifetime of repressed emotion. And for me, I had a very difficult childhood with my father, who would always belittle me, and it made me feel like I'm not good enough in certain things, and I had to struggle with self-confidence throughout my 20s. So for me, that would make like an empty opening room for the entity to nest in. For somebody else, it may be as simple as just having negative thoughts about fighting with your husband or fighting with your family. Anytime you allow anger and these repressed negative emotions to foster inside your body, they create an anchor for the entity to latch into. So the entity literally like jumps in, and then it over time encourages you to engage in more of that negative behavior that in the first place allowed it in. So it creates these behavioral patterns. That's why people say, why the hell is it so difficult to let go of addictions? It's because there's outside support against you.
Yes.
So you need to first understand that I need to lighten up my aura and remove all of this extra junk, which is not even mine, and all these voices that are constantly keeping me in the dark.
Yes.
Once you get rid of the junk, then letting go of addictions is a lot easier. So what happens is, through the law of resonance, they come in and they create the space, and they even create a nest. Sometimes these entities will create a nest. They'll lay eggs in those nests, and they'll have offsprings.
Often. Yes.
And what we do is we use white magic to cancel our contracts with these entities, because anytime an entity comes in, subconsciously we must have made a contract with that entity that I will allow you to feed off my energy. So
by giving you guilt as your food.
that subconscious contract, it's an agreement on a soul level that we've made to cohabit with the entity and allow it to feed off our energy. So through white magic, we have the ability to cancel these contracts, and when we do so, it breaks the link with the entity. So once the contract is over, the entity cannot stay within you any longer. But it still takes a bit of procedure of psychic surgery to remove the entity physically and send it to the light. And what we do is we always send it to source prime creator for the entity to continue its evolution or be recycled into a completely new being. There's a process of rehabilitation that takes place for all entities in the higher realms. So this is basically the gist of it.
So freaking interesting. So basically, we go in, we do the psychic surgery, and entities, as Saman said, the contract has to be ended, and it is possible to rid yourself from entities, guys. Like Saman and I, even and we'll wrap up soon. We have to go out for shisha tonight. Is our date night, Friday night. We've been working so hard, but I have Saman and I, when we first started our, we used to do events and stuff. Divine couples are really being targeted. So every time we'd have to have an event, a big event in Toronto, the entities would come and try to create a fight between us. And 1 or 2 times I fell for it, and then I said, Saman, I think this is entities. And he's like, exactly. So anytime we would do events or wanting to do a YouTube video, this was way back. Right now, that doesn't happen anymore. We've healed ourselves fully of it. But there would be an option to either fight by attaching or believing to the entity's story, or keeping your calm and saying, I'm not going to fall for this. And that is the mastery that you guys are all going through. So what are some things you can do to protect yourself? So I want to just end with this. I want to give you guys, we've given you a lot of tips. So as you go through life, you'll start realizing that life is, you'll start realizing where you're vibrating low, and you'll say, oh shit, I can't allow this low vibration anymore in my life. I need to fix it. So what are some things you can do to protect yourself from entities? I'm going to give you a few things. Number one, you can be ultra aware of your state of mind and your emotional field. If you're feeling any emotion that on the scale of the emotional scale is vibrating in the hertz or the frequency that is lower than love, lower than respect, lower than compassion, lower than joy,
and gratitude,
lower than gratitude, lower than excitement, lower than confidence. Anything that's not these are all on the positive spectrum. Anything that's on the negative spectrum, you see it, you instantly say, oh, I'm not going to fall for that. I'm going to switch my mind from thinking these lower thoughts. I'm going to somehow go into gratitude. I'm somehow going to replace it with excitement. I'm going to somehow replace it with happiness, joy, whatever you need to do. Go in the ocean, cleanse out your negative energy. And this requires a lot of discipline from you guys. Second thing you can do.
And you're not suppressing your emotions. You're simply making a choice that I wish not to stay here.
Yes, such an important point. It's not like you're suppressing your emotion. You're saying, okay, I'm feeling insecure. What can I do about it? I'm going to work on building my self-esteem. I'm going to find out.
The challenge.
I'm going to face myself. Why am I insecure? Oh my God, I'm insecure because I have this accent. Oh, I'm insecure because I have all this acne on my face. Screw that. People who judge me are not meant to be in my life. I'm not going to be insecure anymore. So you heal yourself. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is you learn how entities work. This is an invitation I'm giving all of you. I'm leaving all of you with this invitation as a whisper from your higher self today. You have the control. You're sitting in the control seat of your life. In 2020, we took tens of thousands of people on this journey, and literally we feel like we're doing the journey all the way again, but we're going higher this time because we literally have created everything that you guys need for your journey. So check out the Psychic Protection Masterclass. Again, it's on nems.love, nems.love under premium offerings. It's a 6-module class. This is something where you can really equip yourself, how entities work. We show diagrams, how exactly do they latch on. What can you do daily? You can do grounding, you can do shielding, you can do specific chakra meditations. And these are fun exercises. We do it every day, including like now. What can you do? How can you clear your house? That's actually one of the most fun modules. We teach you how to clear your house, and then you can even have a career by doing that for other people if you wish. We also teach you a very fun exercise, a process called cord cutting within the modules. We teach you how to do cord cutting. So it's a great module for those of you who want to really take this to the next level. What else? What is the next thing you can do? You can see a skilled entity healing extraction specialist, even though it sounds very like ninja. It really is a thing. You have to get regular entity healing. So you can either book with any healer that you know. There's not a lot of skilled healers, unfortunately, and that's why it is our intention to convert many of you guys to entity healing specialists and Metatronic light surgeons. So that modality of ours is coming. We're already working on it. I would say sometime next year, mid-year or so next year. So for those of you who want to receive this entity healing, join our class this Sunday at New Earth Mystery School. It is at 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon, New York time. It's a 2-hour event. We're going to teach you a little bit more about entities with some diagrams perhaps, and you're all going to lay down. We're going to identify where these entities are affecting your lives and your chakras, and we're going to extract them from your light body, and it's $88 is the investment. You go to nems.love and you purchase a gold membership.
And you get access to a whole library of past events, very potent.
Yeah, by joining NEMS, we've priced it so low that we want to help you guys in your ascension. You get unlimited access to all past events, which is like you've just hit the lottery. And each of those events can be sold for $555 on their own, US dollars. So This is like a jackpot. We don't know how long it's going to stay, so grab it if it's interesting you. Another thing,
and it's not going to stay there forever.
and we don't usually offer this. We offer this, there's this premium offering of ours called the Golden Sun Meditation. And we don't usually offer it to the public, but to help you guys, we're going to put it down in the future, like in the next few weeks. We're going to give it to you as a mini daily hygiene ritual, and that you can have, like we're going to sell it for something not that much for you guys to just have this meditation, because we really want to equip you with everything you need for daily energy hygiene, because we have to go up the ascension. Like, we're here to help through the ascension. So always our curriculum is, what does humanity need to ascend?
And if you want to stay notified about when this daily energy hygiene will be available, just go to nems.love and sign up for our newsletter.
Yeah, keep in touch. I'm hoping all of you are already on our newsletter. Just sign up to be part of our newsletter if you want to hear from us. And lastly, what can you do for Halloween? So Halloween is a time we recommend you do not practice it. Like, just drop it cold turkey like we did. Now, some of you can drop it cold turkey, but some of you cannot. Why? You have kids. Kids are going to be upset. They want to have costumes. They want to go trick-or-treating. So the way you do it is you do it gradually. You say, okay, I now understand, and you read up on it. You understand about it. You watch more videos about it and say, holy shit, Samhain, Halloween is a celebration of the dark. It's a celebration of these entities.
And you can also give it a positive twist by instead of like demons, dress your kids like fairies and angels.
Yes.
And also have healthy snacks instead of like
exactly.
And arrange play dates with other like-minded parents who also want a positive environment for the children.
Yes.
And don't watch horror movies. You can still treat it like a celebration.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Change your mindset around it. Make it positive, aligned to the light instead of negative, and stop feeding the agenda that I'm celebrating Halloween and wearing all these horror. And remember, entities love feeding off candy and sugar. So don't feed them with all of that, because that sets you down in a spiral going down. I think that's it, you guys. I love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Hope to see many of you on Sunday. Eat raw seeds. I love that ascension affirmations. We love you guys. Take care, and we'll see many of you this Sunday at 2:30 New York time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Bye,
you for
everybody.
tuning in. Love
Bye.
you guys.